Right, thanks for everyone for joining again for another Zoom interview session. This time I'm with Paul Thompson. I think goes by the name of 7 Foot Studio. How are you doing?
Yeah, not bad, you?
Yeah, pretty good, pretty good. I can see what you mean by 7 Foot Studio. I think you're in a pretty similar situation to me here, right?
Yeah, it does look pretty similar. I think you might have a little bit less stuff crammed in there, though.
Yeah, that's very true, yes.
You reach both walls?
Um, yes.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
You
Yeah.
give me a run for my money here, Craig. There's another chap called Andy up in Liscard who I know who's told me he's actually 6'7".
Oh, blimey.
So
Right.
I'm thinking popping a bit out somewhere and make it a bit smaller, you know?
Yeah. We call it something like Matchbox Recordings or something. Yeah. Anyway, do you want to tell the viewers a bit about yourself and where you know, musically, where you come from?
Okay. I'm Paul, and I've been playing since I was about 13, I think, in various forms. And a couple of years ago, had a bit of a mid-age.
That's me. I'm going to turn this off. Sorry, mate. Carry on.
Yeah, a couple of years ago, I had a bit of a midlife crisis and decided I'd better start putting some of my own music together.
Right.
And for the last couple of years, I've been sort of doing stuff here in this little box and putting it on YouTube and having a bit of fun, really.
Brilliant. I mean, I know I played a few of your tracks occasionally when I've been on the radio and also on the podcast I do on SoundCloud.
Right.
And you know, I lyrically, I think you're quite brilliant, actually, lyrically.
Not musically.
Well, the musically, it's different. I mean, you are very different in your style sometimes, aren't you, when you play?
I am, yeah, but I mean, I'm just soaking up that compliment. Actually, thank you very much, Craig.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's very. I'm trying to think of one of the tracks, but quite philosophical, really, in your sort of take on it. Yeah. So.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I struggle with words. I'm not a singer. I'm not a writer, you know, a poet or anything. I struggle with the words, and so I kind of figure that if they're going to be in a song, they might as well mean something to me, if you know what I mean. Rather
yeah.
Spewing words out for the sake of it. So I do try to put a bit of thought into them.
Yeah, I mean, there was the one about, was it Poole Harbour or something or other? It's the yeah, you know, I mean, again, lyrically, I think brilliant. So yeah.
Very much. That's kind of you to say that. It's probably the most important song I've ever written for me, I would have said.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you know, at the moment, I think you've sent me about, is it 3 or 4 tracks, I think. And over this last, you know, it's on loop on my MP3, and you know, whenever I pick the MP3 up, I'll listen to those before I move on. It's just good stuff. It's good stuff.
Right. Excellent, thank you very much. Well, I hope you appreciate the new stuff that I'm working on now as well, like which should be in the pipeline.
Okay, so
actually.
yes. So what sort of you know, what have we got forward to listen to then, you know, in the future?
More of the same, really. I think I'm getting better. This whole Cubase thing, I started off with cassettes and reel-to-reel recorders like as a kid. This is all very new to me, and I've been learning how to do that really over the last couple of years. So I think the new stuff is probably going to be a bit better produced, hopefully, but it'll be in the same sort of vein, you know, very much guitar centered.
Yes, yeah. I mean, like say the tracks you've given me, I mean, sound quality is pretty good, I think, you know, considering what you're saying, Cubase and such a small thing. I mean, it's good production.
Well, thank you very much. Yeah. I mean, I get some help. I've got a friend up in Manchester who's a producer, and you know, I can contact him on Messenger and stuff and say like, whoa, what do you do about this? And he's given me loads of advice over the last couple of years, and yeah, it's helped a lot. But yeah, it's got a lot of improvement to go and a lot to learn, I think.
Well, that's good. So how have you you know, how have you coped during the lockdown, like the big one and this one so far?
It didn't really affect me too much, to be honest, Craig. I was self-employed at the time. I worked as a handyman, and I had work coming out my ears, really, and we were allowed to carry on working.
Yeah.
there was a couple of weeks when the suppliers were closed, and I did do a couple of tracks then. I kind of locked myself in here for a couple of weeks and did a couple. Other than that, it was just going to the shop was a bit strange, really. I think a lot of people had it a lot worse than I did.
Yeah, no, I same as me, really. You know, a lot of people. First lockdown, I was obviously, because I'm in education, I was off. But one of the lucky ones that got paid, and it almost felt a bit like what retirement might feel like. You know what I mean? Yeah, and it was nice to go out at whatever time and just hear the sound of the birds and not cars and all that sort of stuff. You know.
Yeah, no planes in the sky.
Yeah,
Well,
I know. It was pretty odd, but yeah. So, are you planned? Are you going to get an EP, an album, or something together? Are you working on that?
I don't know, really. I mean, I definitely do this just for my own amusement and a bit of fun. But I have sort of mulled over the idea of doing something and putting it on maybe Spotify or all of this modern stuff that I don't really understand.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I've got a few tracks that are in the pipeline now in various stages of, production, and there is a kind of a theme running through them, I suppose. So maybe it would work as a little EP.
Okay.
Just have to see how it goes, I think, Craig, really.
Right. Have you got anything on YouTube? Because normally what happens is I tag a couple of videos onto the interview.
Right on. Yeah, I got a YouTube channel, just the name 7 Foot Studio. Yeah, there's a few things on there.
Yeah, well, I'll find a few and then stick them on in the music for the interview section. So
yeah, right on. I recommend, if you don't mind putting the Mermaid of Zena one on.
That's a great track. Great track.
Video of that was a lot of fun to make. Even though my gentleman vegetables ended up shrunk to the size of a pea by the end of that video.
Yes, yeah. Cold then. Bizarrely enough, at the college we work in, or I work in the Sonora restaurant side, and I only found out the other day that the name Sonora was the name of the Mermaid of Zena.
Yeah, I think it's written on the church outside as well, isn't it?
Yeah, I didn't know. Yeah, didn't know. So yeah, brilliant stuff. Brilliant. So do you gig your stuff live when there's no lockdown, or?
I haven't done it at all. No, I did gigs when I was a younger man, and thought I was going to be a rock star and all of that, and
okay,
a lot of other things in my life, and I just enjoy a bit of spare time in here, really.
Okay, so it's not something you think about again, maybe joining a band or getting a band together?
Hey, if anybody ever knocked on my door and said, Paul, will you play guitar for me? I'll probably say yes, but no one has so far.
Okay, yeah. Well, you never know. You never know. So, we talked about whether you're working on a couple of tracks, did you say? A couple of things?
I got a few in the pipeline, yeah.
Okay, and you said all along the similar sort of theme.
Yeah, I used to try and do these really complicated sort of cinematic wall of sound arrangements with synthesizers and all of that, and never managed to complete one single track ever. So I kind of stripped it back, and now I kind of try to use the guitars in a way to sort of mimic that synthiness. But I'm even stepping back from that now, really. I'm thinking just keep it as simple as possible, basically because I'm not very good at the production side of it. And it takes me years and years to do stuff if I make it complicated. So I'm kind of thinking, keep it simple, then I can maybe finish some stuff and get it out there,
Yeah, I mean, definitely. Like I say, I mean, for me, because I listened through quite a good system, and it's the production wise, and the ones I hear are very good. You can't fault it.
Well, thank you. But yeah, to get to that point, whereas someone who knows what they're doing will do a mix like that in maybe a half a day, I might be on that mix for 3 or 4 weeks.
Right.
Tweaking things ad infinitum, thinking, oh, it's not quite right, And that's really where my learning is in not the finished product, but how you get there in an efficient way.
Right.
And I figured probably the best way for me to learn that was to do some really simple stuff. and just get the basics right and nail it, you know, and then hopefully maybe reintroduce some more layers later on in the day and that, you know, on the next round of writing, I suppose.
Okay. So you say you use, is it Cubase? Is that what
Cubase 9.5, I think it is. Yeah.
Okay. How long have you been using that for then?
This particular version, probably a couple of years, but I did sort of dabble with it back in the beginning of the millennium. I don't know what that would have been. Cubase 4, maybe?
Maybe, yeah. I mean, I don't use Cubase, so, you know.
What do you use?
Well, basically, I mean, I don't do a lot of recording of my own music. Do you know what I mean? So, but for all of this sort of stuff and for the interviews, Audacity for me just works spot on.
Yeah, Audacity's great, isn't it? I've been using that for a few years, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't need the all singing whistles and bells, you know what I mean? But I suppose if I was serious about putting some music down and polishing it up and doing all that, then I'd probably have to change. But like you say, it's learning that process, isn't it?
The thing with Audacity, I find, is that it's not really live, is it? You know, the effects and that, when you want to put effects, you kind of audition them.
Yes.
And then submit them. Whereas in something like Cubase, you can sit there and you can twiddle the knobs and affect it in real time.
Right.
Just makes it a bit easier for me, I think. But I still use Audacity. It's a great piece of software. Just use it more for editing and that now, I think.
Right.
But yeah, get hold of a DAW, Craig. You'll enjoy it. You'll spend many hours in your living.
Yeah, that's the fear, though, isn't it? Many hours sat in here, you know, just focused on the screen. I don't know. I'll have to see what happens.
That beard will grow a bit longer. You know what I
mean? Yeah. Brilliant. Yeah. So you come from down here, do you? From Cornwall?
No, I'm a Dorset boy.
Okay.
Which causes some grief for me at work and locally. Get a lot of stick for that.
Yeah.
But,
So you're living down here now, is that right?
Yeah. Been up and down most of my life, really, down to Cornwall, and we moved back down about 9 years ago, I think it was now.
Right. Okay. Brilliant. Yeah. So a little daft question: what's your favourite instrument?
This one.
Okay.
It's beat up. It's had its head broken. I'm not had it long, and it's fantastic.
Lovely, mate.
Love it.
So just
what a name.
All right, well, just take us through your setup for it quickly, if you can. I mean, you know what I mean? As in, what do you play it through, speaker-wise, amp-wise, all that sort of stuff? Is that a Marshall down there, is it?
Right, yeah. I'm a bit of a gearhead, I'm afraid.
Okay.
And this isn't all of it. I'm not going to point the camera at it, but there's a couple of Marshall, some old vintage Baldwin stuff, Vox stuff. I've just bought this amazing PV Bravo amp, which is, I'm blown away by how good that is and how cheap they are. Right. You buy a PV Bravo for 100 quid. I got that one for a bit cheaper, but I had to fix it. Well, Russ had to fix it, which was a few quid. That's my new favourite thing, PV Bravo. Yeah, that's what this is going through that a lot at the moment. Okay.
You mentioned Russ there. Is that Russ Fletcher?
Yeah. I just went down to see him yesterday. You know Russ, don't you?
Yeah, big shout out to Russ. Yeah.
Shout out to Russ from everybody, I think.
Yeah. I mean, the guy is constantly busy, isn't he?
Yeah.
Considering.
Well, I went down to see him yesterday, and he'd been trying to have his lunch for 2 hours, and I stopped him up for another 40 minutes, probably.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny because nearly every single musician I talk to, you know, where'd you get your work done? It's Russ.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, fantastic. Anyway, look, we digress a little bit there on that one.
Historically, though.
Yeah. Now I'm going to throw a question to you because I always ask this question at the end of the interview. You might have heads up if you've been watching. You know.
I have seen a few of your interviews. Yeah.
Okay. And the question is obviously, you know, is there anybody you'd like to thank for you being here musically now?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, my mum. She passed away last year, sadly, but right from an early age, we were getting deafened by Rod Stewart and the Rolling Stones and all the good stuff, you know, and that carried on all the way through, really. And by the time I got to a teenager, you know, I had a lot of music in my head. I'd heard a lot of music.
Yeah, brilliant.
Mum. And then my stepdad, I think it was my 14th birthday. He's a musician, and he went out and got me an acoustic guitar, and yeah, that was that. So yeah, them two really, my mum and my stepdad.
Fantastic, mate. Absolutely brilliant. Thanks, Paul, for giving me the time, you know, to give an interview and stuff.
Well, thank you for having me on. I'm not exactly one of your regular gigging musicians, like, so
no, but like I say, you know, there's a few people that over this last couple of years that sent me music that it sticks in your mind, and it's like, you know, and I'm almost like on a goal of trying to interview, you know, there's a select few. So, you know, I'm ticking you off that list now. So,
well, blown away, mate. I've got to say, I look upon you now as the local John Peel.
Yeah, John Peel.
I should give him a shout out musically. And
yeah, I agree. Yeah,
it's great, mate. You're giving local musicians a chance to be heard and feel their music, and that's appreciated.
No worries, mate. Well, look, thank you very much for your time, and let me know when you've got some new stuff out there.
Yeah, will do, mate. You'll be one of the first to hear, all right?
Thank you. I'll speak to you later.
Booty.
Cheers.
Cheers.